environment to where they come from a nonprofit space of putting that think tank together, but I could support in the facilitation of like the discussion and the actual practical tools that they would need to like put in place for that.
Yeah, I think that that's something you definitely can do. And the question becomes finding the right fit. So I'm going to answer it on two levels. So the question becomes finding the right fit, Dr. Teresa, because you have to find. Do you know of nonprofits that operate like that now?
Yes, I do. I have a particular, and I haven't talked to these nonprofits yet. So I'm thinking about them in my mind, and I do have a wonderful partnership. I actually do some work with them, and so I'm like, they may be a good organization to bring into the fold. Of course, I need to talk to the president and CEO, but as
Right.
I'm listening to you, I'm like, it could really be something there.
And so what service do they offer? You don't have to tell me their name, but what service do they offer?
They basically focus in on partnerships, grants, contract writing, professional development. They do a lot to support colleges and universities around the nation. They do some phenomenal work in the higher ed space, helping
Okay,
schools. Mhm.
so are they able to assist if let's say if you went to Manchester, Jamaica, would they be able to offer their services to that province as well?
Yes, yes. And actually interested in doing things globally because the main thing that they're about is the partnerships. And
Mm-hmm.
just imagine a space where we go beyond partnerships, nationally, and then start partnering like universities in the different countries with schools here. So then that kind of can even support exchanges and everything for faculty and students.
So are you saying a now do they work with high schools, colleges, universities?
Colleges and universities.
Okay, so you would partner with them so you could open the door for discussions with different university officials with this nonprofit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great business model. I definitely think you should talk to your U.S. Commercial Services rep about that and the education rep about that. Because see, what that does is, and you're the facilitator of the conversation. You are the one that keeps it going. And if you did a roundtable every quarter, let's say, I don't know, like the first Tuesday, first Wednesday in every quarter, and then this is how organizations grow, just by having this level of conversation. Because I know I'm just saying the Caribbean, you could be interested in Asia, or another part of the world, but I'm just using that as an example. But if, for example, CARICOM, which is they have an education division and they're over 19 Caribbean countries, you start with one Caribbean country, let's say Jamaica, and then you start your conversations there and then have them to invite CARICOM, and so what you're focused on are the operations around universities, right? And then you would be the one to bring the training in. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. I really because the thing for me is for you to be in control. This is the biggest piece because your value add to the nonprofit is they're not doing international work, but for you're helping them to expand their portfolio, and all you're doing is facilitating a meeting. So they're not going to take the time to contact the commercial services, and they probably don't know how. But you know how to do that in order to have this conversation to take place. So I think that's an excellent idea. Okay, great. And then so who do we have? Let's do another example. Nadine, how are you tonight?
I am doing okay tonight. How are you, Melissa? It's been a minute.
I know it has been a minute. Nadine, what's your business again?
For my business, and I don't have a nonprofit arm, but I've been thinking about how to do that. My business is Springwell 360, and it's focused on health equity. So I do trainings with clinical research sites, people who want to enter into the field of clinical research, academia, on how to reach underserved populations. Yeah.
So give me an example of the transformation that you're offering.
So, I wrote a book last summer called Mastering Clinical Research, Pathway to a Six-Figure Career, and was an Amazon bestseller.
Oh,
So I kind of,
congratulations.
well, thank you. It's on Amazon. So I use that, so I kind of use that book as like a launching pad, especially with people. Sorry, I'm out of breath because I'm pregnant. So
Well, wait. You can't just gloss over that part. You can't.
I'm out of breath every sentence I make. Sorry about that. Um,
Congratulations. How far are you?
6 months, thank you.
Oh, congrats. Is this your first?
Second, and it's a boy again.
And it's
Um, yeah.
I
Um,
have two boys, two girls, so I understand. So go ahead.
thank you. So I do training, especially with people who could be medical assistants, foreign medical grads, um, phlebotomists who may have plateaued in their careers. And so now by entering into the clinical research basic, because they have transferable skills that can be used, my book kind of talks about how to strategically place themselves so that they can climb the corporate ladder. They can start out entry level research assistant, clinical research coordinator, move the way up, become manager, director, vice president, maybe even launch their own company if they want to. So that's kind of like the coaching I do. But if I'm working with an academic site or a clinical research site, I'm teaching them on how to recruit members of underrepresented populations for
Mm-hmm.
clinical trials because we know that because of historical injustices, there's a mistrust in our communities with
Mm-hmm.
healthcare and researchers and scientists, but it's also doing us a disservice where we can't advance, care in our communities because we're not participating in the research studies. We don't know the research numbers and whatnot. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I do now.
And so, how would you translate that to another country? So, let's say translating it to Japan. How would you translate that?
I don't know, but one of the things I thought about is like, for instance, I'm from Trinidad. I'm from the Caribbean.
Oh, Trinidad. Okay, Trinidad. Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about that quite a bit. And one of the ways I thought about that was to train in the schools of clinical research as a viable career option,
Mm-hmm.
but also somehow seeing how to partner with pharma so that they can do clinical trials in the Caribbean. Because, for instance, I know for conditions that disproportionately affects members of our community, such as lupus, people in Trinidad don't have much options in terms of medicines for their care. And a lot of them are, they're suffering beyond the basic medicine. So that's something I've thought about, but I don't know how to, I guess, make it become a reality. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I would say is teaching in the schools, like STEM teaching, so that, especially young kids can know that they can enter into a field of clinical research.
And do you think that how much clinical research do you think is happening in Trinidad?
Very little. I've
Very
seen
okay.
some MS, the multiple sclerosis studies.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen much else beyond that. Very little.
Okay. But being in the hospitals, do you think this is a conversation they would be interested in?
Probably not at first, again, because of the historical injustices that have happened and the bad name of research being like you're going to be a
Yeah.
guinea pig and whatnot. So probably
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
initially.
I I definitely can see that and feel that. And then if anybody else has any suggestions that this is where our think tank takes place and our thinking takes place, or anyone that might have any levels of experience. But my thinking is I'm taking where you are upskilling. It sounds like you're upskilling individuals to go from medical assistant to research assistant, and sticking with your book, right? Which you will already have a step by step process. That might be something that you might be interested in sharing with colleges and universities
Right,
and or healthcare training facilities.
right.
So, and then not only that, because many of those individuals end up doing international travel work. So, because the shortage of healthcare professionals is quite tremendous in some parts of the world, and so when you said healthcare, that's what made me think of Japan as an example of a country for you, because they're the oldest population, but when I tell you they're short on healthcare, when I lived in Japan for a number of years, and they would bring healthcare professionals from the Philippines, and it would be the nurses, the RNs, the LPNs, the phlebotomists, all different levels of that you're talking about. But what would happen is they would not be able to pass the language test in order to come into the Japanese healthcare system. So they look to other parts of the world to bring people in to be able to help them because the shortage is so great. But if you thought about doing that, and trust me, listen when I tell you, English is the language of international business, which is a great thing for us because you don't have to speak Japanese. I spoke Japanese, but you don't have to in order to be successful there. There's just a huge need. And I would say in any Asian country, the other country I would suggest you look at is Italy because they have an aging population. But that's where the highest healthcare needs are going to be in those types of countries. And I think that you could do very well by initiating a conversation through the US Commercial Services by saying, I want to talk with the healthcare professionals at vocational training institutes, in Tokyo. And there are vocational training institutes in every country, right? So I wouldn't necessarily focus on the universities. I would focus on the people that you want to upskill. And actually, it's awareness too, because I would never have thought about going from a phlebotomist to a research assistant. And I think that that's a great move.
Yeah, and I've had some people successfully do it based on the training and were able to help, feel better in their career because now they're able to get a higher salary and then, do better for their families. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that is really, really great. Even CNAs do international work. Literally all over the world and travel and they have domestic and international travel. Okay, so let's do one more. Our guest speaker is here before we move to her case study. So I'm going to try this name, Tosika. Did I say it right? Is it
It's
Tos?
Tuskia.
How do you pronounce it?
Tuskia.
Tuskia?
Tuskia.
Tuskia. Okay.
Yes.
Hi, good evening, Tuskia. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. What is your business?
So I actually have a nonprofit organization.
Oh,
Um,
good. Okay.
I mentor low income girls and help them to get their lives back on track.
Okay. So give us an example of some of the transformations you've been able to do.
So I work heavily with CPS, human trafficking victims. These girls are usually known as prostitutes on the street, so I help them get clean, re-enroll in school, help them graduate and go to either a trade or a college.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I have goosebumps. That's how I felt about Kendra. We're going to talk with her about her nonprofit. Well, let me say thank you for doing that work. Do you have a team or is it just you?
It's just me for now.
And who are you working through? Like, how do you find the girls that you're servicing?
Child Protective Services.
Oh, wow. And they refer you the girls.
Correct.
All right. And does Child Protective Services pay you?
No.
They don't pay you. So how are you raising the funds for your organization?
Grants. I just started a coffee business, donations and different revenues.
Okay, see, you who I'm talking about. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. How see how you're bootstrapping it, and the mission that you have is tremendous.
Thank you.
It is tremendous, and it's definitely not one person can make a difference, but you have to. Do you have a job other than that?
I do. I am a first grade teacher.
Oh, okay, your first grade teacher. Okay, so the human trafficking problem is definitely an issue, and as you're servicing these girls, it sounds like you are taking them through a step-by-step process of how to get on their feet,
Correct.
right? So do you have that as a written training?
I do not. I've been doing it for so long. I need to write it down, but no, it's just natural now.
Yeah, I would encourage you to develop a system, Tosika, like Nadine was talking about, and putting it into a book
Okay.
that's translatable, that's transferable, because it and with GPT, all of the different GPTs now, it's really easy to get it out of your head. This is why, because you literally can take that service and you can help any young girl,
Mhm.
right? Anywhere in the world
Right.
to be able to move from where they are into a better position.
Right.
And so you doing webinar trainings and working with different organizations like the organization we're going to be talking about tonight, that type of alignment, I think, would really help you to be able to find partners where you can increase your revenue.
Okay.
That's going to be your biggest move to
Okay.
be able to do that. So I think that's great. And I think you should talk to the governor. What state are you in?
I'm in Georgia right now.
Oh, what part?
I'm in McDonough.
Well, I'm from outside of Albany, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm from a small town in Worth County, Georgia. So, yeah, I'm a Georgia girl. I live in Maryland now in the DMV.
Okay.
So yeah, I think, and talking with, oh no, your governor, skip that. Yeah, 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 scratch that, scratch that, scratch that. No, my governor in my state, yeah, definitely you could talk to, but your governor, no,
No,
that is not going to work.
you're
I
mute.
want to encourage you to get partners that can help you with that mission so that you can get funded because the service that you're offering, um, you need assistance so that you can bring people on.
Okay.
You can. How long have you been teaching?
Teaching, I've been teaching first grade for about 3 years now, but I've been mentoring for about 12 years now.
About 12. Yeah. You got to get your system down that you can bring on. And the other piece I would encourage you with is the young girls that you are working with, that you take the system that you develop and you teach them
Mm,
how to go and get five girls like themselves.
that's a
And
good
that
idea.
they take your system, the Tozika system, call it, I like that. This is the Tozika system, and then you have them to be able to service other girls, and you grow like that. Like I'm a huge fan of being self-sufficient. Not
Mm,
that you don't need other people to support you, but you want to be able to call the shots. I think that
right.
that's critically important. Okay, so any questions before we move to Kendra, our primary speaker for tonight? Okay, Kendra, how are you?
I'm doing well, Melissa. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So, Kendra, we're going to be talking tonight about your nonprofit Bridge Foundation, and I wanted you to share a little bit about the Bridge Foundation and specifically the Cycle for Success program and how that works. And then what we've been talking through is how you can grow a nonprofit operation in other countries, which you're currently doing, and for you to share how you have done that, and then to wrap up with where we are in terms of the campaign that we're supporting you with. So tell us about yourself and where you are in the process.
I smile when you say tell you about myself. I extremely humbled. I roots in Mississippi, born and raised in a small city called Mount Bayou, Mississippi. I was a mother of two. Now it's down to one. Two grandchildren, which is the joy of my life currently. And one of the biggest things that we always wanted to do, how do we give back? Even on the for-profit side, we created Bridge Foundation Development Corporation, really give to the veterans. And as you continue to do the work, you show up at meetings or you show up at an event, and it was life changing for me. So, over 2 years ago, I ended up going to the World Conference of Mayors event, and I got an invite from my client because I was working on a marketing project. And I ended up going to Orlando. And I ended up meeting Mayor Jarara, which is the youngest mayor in the Kuntar region in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, he says, I need your help. And I'm like, okay, what do you have going on? And it struck me to see a man talk about a female issues. You normally see women campaigning, providing sanitary napkins for girls. You see it everywhere you go. But what struck me that was odd was, and that was extremely different for me, was a man to approach me. And he's the mayor of that region. It's over 150,000 people, which they're broken up into 10 wards. And he said, they're coming up to my wife and they're asking my wife, can you help me? And little did I know it was going to still take some time because you're still talking about an international project, and really, how do you capture data? How does it get to the end user? And how can it be successful? And all of these things thread together. So by meeting him, I did a lot of due diligence. I ended up looking at an organization that was in Johannesburg, and that was like a non-starter for them. And then we ended up working with a local business owner there in the region. And so we had a couple of meetings with him, and I went back and forth. Melissa, you are a very good negotiator. And so I kept going back and forth on the number because it needed to make sense for me, because I was going to be asking my family and friends to help me with this particular project. And so in 6 months, we launched Cycle for Success, and Bridge Foundation. Again, the goal was to provide service to make sure that veterans knew about their services with the VA. And
Mm-hmm.
it did take a turn. So certain things just takes a turn in your life, and I just leaned into it. And so over almost 2 years now, going almost 2 years. In November will make 2 years of us being up and going. So a little over a year and a half, I donated the first donation, which was just 72 packages, and it was on my birthday, and it was so special for me. I knew that 72 girls were going to be in school because of me, and that was my gift for me for my birthday. And I reached out
That,
to the
that
board, say, hey, I got, go ahead.
that's beautiful, Kendra. So this mission, Cycle for Success, right? So what you were able to do in that period of time was to establish a relationship and a supply chain that I really want you to share so that the others that are listening to our broadcast can see the steps that were taken, the good, bad, and the ugly, but establishing a supply chain so that you are able to provide feminine products to girls in the Gambia. And the reason that it struck me so greatly what you're doing is because these young girls miss school. They miss school and they're not able to attend school, and their education is hampered because of biology. And
Right.
something that we take for granted, so simple here in the US, is something that is life changing in terms of education. And so, Cycle for Success, Kendra provides feminine products for girls in the Gambia through the school system, which I think is a brilliant strategy. So I'm just going to give you the overall, and then if Kendra can walk us through how she was able to develop her supply chain and telling us about her first delivery. But so there are about 15,000 girls in the region, right? And
Yes.
there are a number of schools. And so the what Kendra has been able to do is to partner with the mayor to be able to have boxes of feminine products delivered and to the mayor, and the mayor takes them to the schools. And so it really touched me when you said he came up to you and the girls were coming up to his wife. And now I understand better that this is something personal for him, because when you told me that the mayor is delivering the products to the school himself, I said, wow, that's quite incredible. But now for those schools, the girls in those classrooms are able to have enough products to supply them for the month, and therefore they can attend school, which I think is tremendous, Kendra. So kudos to you for that. So give us some ideas of what your numbers have looked like and what you've been able to deliver.
So till today, we've done over 20,000 sanitary napkins up until today. We just had another delivery a few weeks ago, and that was over 3,500 sanitary napkins. 16 and a half boxes. So
Mm-hmm.
if you count them, however, we're touching 816 girls' lives. We've been continuously being able to keep them in school, because if you think about it, if you miss 5 months out of school,
Five
that's a whole
days.
generation. 5 days. So
Uh-huh.
5 days out of school every month, that's a whole generation that's capped into poverty. But if you remove that and you give a girl an opportunity to go to school, number one, and then number two, um, looking at the families that could not been able to provide for that, that's life changing, because it's going to touch the whole entire family.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we know that is extremely important is, one, to build a relationship with the local government, and we built a relationship with the local mayor,
Mm-hmm.
because that was the top priority for him, to get the girls in school. And when you look at the data, 90% of our girls, it's a 90% retention rate with our
Wow.
particular Cycle for Success program. And you explained it very well. And then he goes out. These schools are in remote areas. I had an opportunity to visit last year, and we're going to go back in July, and the product is getting there. We have a system in place where they sign out, they ask a lead teacher, and a goal again. We don't want the barrier, because in the Gambia, the principals are not females, they are males, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lead teacher for every school, because we're in 5 schools currently. And they go to the lead teacher, they ask for products, they take care of themselves in the bathroom, and then they go back to school. So we're
Mm-hmm.
at a 90% retention rate. And so we're very, very excited about that as well. So local government stimulate the economy,
Mm-hmm.
then the store owner will definitely transport for free. And then this is a numbers game where to do what we're doing, I'm a shoestring budget, and for every $20, for every $100, or for everyone that wants to make a donation, that's made a donation. When we were running the 2 for 2, for everyone that did what they did, that is continuing to keep us alive, and we're still alive,
Mm-hmm.
providing sanitary napkins every month. And we did, Melissa, we did touch the water. We did do that. And we also did send over 8,000 books. Um, to the Gambia. It's on their way
Wow.
to the Gambia, to the school as well.
Wow. That this is great. So tell us about, you were mentioning the 90%. Like, how have you impacted the attendance rate for the girls? How have you, what has
That's the
changed there?
90% attendance rate. It's 90% attendance. That's the
And
rate.
and before that, what was the attendance rate?
Before that, it had to been in the, I think he told me it was in the 30s. and I have to confirm that. It
Yeah.
was very low. They're using Cycle for Success as a recruiting mechanism now because they have a good quality. They have the product in stock. Now they're able to recruit other girls that's been out of school for a long period of time because now they have the product.
Wow, that is really great. So you're able to help the girls and help the local school and help the economy. And Kendra, one of the things that we stress to our members is to work through the government, to work through the governments in the U.S. and work through the governments in country, because you don't want to walk this by yourself. That's where the difficulty comes in, and you don't have levels of support to help you as you are expanding your business into these different areas. So, we have a question, Kendra, and we're going to get to that about how do you set up the 501c3? How do you set that up? And then how do you do that with having your 501c3 operate in another country? So, can you give us some insight around that?
Well, the 501(c)(3) was set up in 2019, and it was a CDC, a Community Development Corporation. And
Mm-hmm.
all I had to do was to write a letter to RS and letting them know that we're doing some international work. And I ended up creating a summary. And that summary of that program I sent over to RS to, again, let them know what we're doing as well. And so that 501(c)(3 short form. We did the long form because again, we still want to do economic development. Our
Mm-hmm.
ultimate goal is She Rise. So there is some construction we still want to do. And so that's how we end up starting. So we didn't do the short form, we did the long form for the 501(c)(3 to make sure that we were a CDC.
Okay.
And so
So
that's what
let
we did.
so let me ask Sister Kama. I see that you're on, and Sister Kama is a nonprofit 501c3 queen. She is a CPA, and she does most of her work as a CPA with nonprofits. So, Sister Kama, can you come on and talk about the Form 1023 and let them know how to take those steps? You're on mute. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get off mute and
Oh, okay,
excuse me, I'm not I can't show my camera right now, but
no problem.
so for the 1023, um like she was saying that they did the long form. It's really based on how much revenue you plan on bringing in the first year. That's what they base it off of, whether you do the short form or the long form. Um, when you go to form your nonprofit, you want to make sure you have your board set up. The people, it's funny you're saying this because I just got out of a meeting with somebody that's setting up a nonprofit. And you want to make sure you have your board set up, preferably an odd number of people. You want some key people on your board, depending on what your mission is. You try to have key people that can bring something to your organization, like a lawyer, an accountant, certain people. And you set up the entity, and then you have to see what your oh my God, your state regulations are.
Yeah,
Most of
yeah.
the time you have to
Mhm.
see what that you have to apply through your or be certified through your state as well as through the federal government. But
Mm-hmm,
it's not a hard process.
mm-hmm.
The long form is long. It's long. It's long. Am I right, Kendra?
It's long. We had help, so I did not do
Yeah.
this on my own. So you are exactly right.
It's long. The short one is it's a few pages. You do it online, and it takes a light of less processing time than the long form. I have somebody that's been waiting for 6 months or over for the long form, and the other one takes maybe a month or 2 months. So, but
So
you have to
can
have your mission.
Anybody who's interested, no, go ahead and talk about the mission.
And you have to have your mission, whether it's educational, community oriented. You have to have a mission of what you're trying to do. It's not just you're for profit, you're in it for a profit or anything, but you got to have a more, I don't know what the word is, Melissa.
Altruistic.
Yeah, goal that you're trying to do something and trying to solve a problem and help. So,
So what you can do is you can actually just Google on the IRS website
hmm
nonprofit information. They have categories that are considered. So it's 501A, 501B, 501C, 501D, and most people focus on 501C, and then under C it's one, two, three. It's different numbers. I think it goes to six. But 501c3 is typically the one that most people know about. But you
yeah.
just pick one of those categories. Education and training is the biggest one. But I'm going to give you an example of how we're structured at Black and Global to do that alignment. So we are an international business development firm. So we help Black owned businesses to get contracts in other countries. And so we will get referred contracts or we will help businesses to go out and locate contracts. And so as a lawyer, international tax lawyer, my strength is in putting together international deals, setting them up, financing them, negotiating them, putting those pieces together. So but Black and Global has a nonprofit arm, exactly what I'm suggesting that you all do. And our nonprofit arm is called Black and Global Essentials, and it's a training company. And the Black and Global Essentials, it teaches businesses how to get contracts in other countries. So we have a training program. So, Tosika, the way I was telling you, you systematize it. So literally, we've taken from my brain what I've done for 27 plus years. We put it into a step-by-step system that's repeatable, and we teach people how to do that. And then as we're teaching people how to do that, then we help them to look for contracts. So once they don't have to come to the for-profit side, but it is an option. So it enables us to have a cadre of businesses so that when contracts come our way, we're able to say, oh, we have this business that can deliver on X contract. So it opens the door for us, because the thing about international business is there is a way that business is done. And a lot of times it's reshaping your thinking, because you'll X yourself out and you don't know that it only cost you $300 for your government to go and check the market and say, hey, is there any market for my business in this country? It'll cost you 900 and will cost you $750 if you want them to set up 5 meetings for you. So these are the things that we teach you how to do, and you work with us for a year, and then you're able to find contracts on your own. But as we get contracts that come into our portfolio, we will refer you to contracts as well. So that's how we've taken the for-profit and the nonprofit. And so when we put together our nonprofit, we did the short form. Us's did not do the long form. It was too much for me. So, but the good thing with the short form was you do the short form while you did not have the high revenues. And then you can expand it to the long form once your revenues increased. So that's the route that we took in order to get it. And so the form that you fill out is a form 1023. That's the one you fill out. And it takes the IRS a substantial amount of time to be able to get your 1023 certification back to you. So I suggest you be patient. Take 6 to 12 months to be able to just get the paperwork down. And having your board is critical. But if you don't have all the people that you want with the special skill set, I wouldn't worry about that. I would just really get started, because the paperwork is the most critical piece. And then after you get your 501c3, now hear this part well. Every year you have to file what's called a Form 990 annual report. More nonprofits get into trouble not filing their 990s, right, Sister Kama?
Absolutely. And if you don't not getting a lot of money over 50,000, you can just do a postcard. So it's not.
It's not hard. Yeah,
Yep.
if you're not making a substantial amount of money. So you file your 990 every single year so that you keep it current. And it's better to stay ready so that when opportunities come, you don't have to get ready, because you don't want to have to, if you go dormant, which means you don't file your 990, you get suspended, and you have to go through all these steps to get your nonprofit acclimated. And the same with the state. Um,
Absolutely, because the states sometimes are harder, are
mhm,
more making sure you're in compliance. Like in the state of Illinois, like the federal will allow you, I think, 3 years before they consider you non-compliant. Some states you only got 1 year.
mhm.
You don't even have a year, but you can't let the expiration date come, or they're gonna put you on the list that you cannot maybe receive donations and certain things. So you have to
Yeah.
make sure you're in compliance with your state.
And the way that that happens is let's say you get to a point and somebody wants to give you a donation, but they're not able to take a tax write-off because your paperwork's not in order.
And
So
they
he,
will look you up.
yeah,
Whoever give you, especially if large donations, they will look you up to see if you're in compliance.
yes, because that's the way they're able to take the deduction. And so what you do is, so someone like Sister Kamar, she can help you do that. So she helps nonprofits to be able to do the short form, long form, and stay in compliance, the 990s. Because if y'all like me, y'all want to run a business. I want to run a business. I want to do some contracts, all this administrative stuff. I'm so grateful for the Black and Global team, because like literally we have on the calendar when the annual reports are due for the state, when the annual reports are due for the federal, so that we don't get lost on it. So we have an internal person that handles that. But I promise you, if Melissa had to handle it, you can forget about it. Because I'm it's just too many pieces I have moving. So you can have work with somebody like Sister Kamar to be able to, Sister Kama, to be able to help you keep your 990, your filings, and your tax returns for your nonprofit consistent. So, Sister Kama, would you drop your details in the chat? Well, let me
Yes,
ask you.
ma'am.
Wait, hold on, because Kama's big time. She not always taking clients.
Oh no, you can contact me.
They can. Okay.
Yes, all
Uh,
right.
le- Listen, when I literally tell you, like literally her client list will close down sometimes. And she will let go of the biggest clients if they're giving her a headache. So she's not always taking clients, but that's good. So if you would drop it in there and reach out to her and just ask her some questions around setting up your nonprofit. But listen, if you're a classic overthinker, and high achieving people like us, typically we are, don't overthink this piece. You already have the mission. Make it simple. Align it to what you're doing now. I would not suggest adding on something new. Just align it to, and just think of, how can I teach and train somebody in what I do? How can I teach and train other people in how to help girls who have gone through sex trafficking get on their feet? How would I help teach on clinical trials and how you can upskill, basically? And that's what it is. You're teaching upskilling in clinical research. How can I teach how to go from a phlebotomist or a medical assistant to increase your revenue into a higher career path? And then Dr. Teresa, we talked through yours. So there's so many ways that you're able to do that. And like with Kendra, for example, an upskill, hers is already a nonprofit, but I'm just going to give you an idea so you understand the thinking. So say if you were a nurse, for example, because Kendra, I think your background is in marketing, right? You were a marketing person
Yes.
previously. But let's just say hypothetically you're a nurse and you want to teach nursing skills in another country, or you want to have that different professionals to be able to access your nursing skills. So Cycle for Success is an example of a way that you could work with hospitals as well. Like Kendra has structured this through schools, but you could work with hospitals as well to be able to provide the feminine products, because they need feminine products in the hospital as well. So your mission of working in the medical field is aligned. So what you're looking for is that alignment, because most of us have families, some of us jobs and working and business. So you don't want to add weight to your plate. What you want to be able to do is expand your base so that you are training other people who can take on your mission. And then by you partnering together, then you don't have to walk it by yourself. Like with Kendra, that's what we're doing. So Kendra is now a Black and Global member. And because we do international business development and she is doing international business, we are helping her with providing the feminine products and actually marketing a campaign to promote to our members to support her business. So you see how it's international business that's aligned, and it's also altruistic at the same time. And then we're able to expand our service within the Black community and in Africa, which are all our core values. But I'm coming in to support someone that currently has a business. So Dr. Teresa, it's like you were saying, I'm someone who's already operating with Black and Global is just going to help her to be able to increase the revenue that she has coming in so that she's able to have greater impact. So Nadine, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so Kendra, we over 8:30. Okay. So Kendra, as we get ready to wrap up our conversation, so share with us how you were able to operate this business, because do you operate this business full time?
I would say really part-time now.
Yeah, part time.
I think that if you look at what we do and
Mm-hmm.
how it's actually ran, it's not a full time. I think once we start to scale and we're looking at She Rise, things will change. So currently it's really part time for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's currently the mode that I'm operating in. Once funds come in, it'll take a little bit more of my time. There are some other things we would like to do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's currently like I'm running this part time. I'm running this with the support of the board, but
Mm-hmm.
my whole entire operation is basically a wire transfer, a communication with the mayor, transportation communication, because I do have to touch the store owner sometimes, because the product is not in and I have to wait, but the delivery from the store, the delivery from the mayor's office, and it's personally been delivered by him. I just got some photos today, Melissa. All of those things are just from a wire to just making sure everyone follows through and follow up. That's currently until we get ready to scale.
Right. So that's supply chain management. That's what you just taught. You
Right.
just taught, and what I really love about that is you're an example of it's not full time. So this is why we're saying to everybody that you can align to what you're doing, and you're just administrating, right? To have it delivered, and look at the level of impact from 30% to 90% increase in attendance. I mean, that is really, really dramatic. So let's wind up our conversation talking about the campaign that we're doing right now. And we really want to get everybody's mindset thoughts around how we can make this successful. So for Cycle for Success, our goal is to help Kendra to be able to increase the number of donors. So for one, we're asking one individual to support 24 girls, and that with $20 a month. And so 20 US dollars a month will allow you to adopt an entire classroom, right, Kendra?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, an entire classroom of girls. Now, in my mind, remember when I saw those numbers, I was blown away by that. I was just absolutely blown away. And for $40, you can support 48, almost 50 girls, two classrooms of girls to be able to stay in school every month. So we want to brainstorm, how do we get in front of people who would do that? And then on the champion side, what we're looking at is corporations donating 300, 400, or 500 and adopting schools, right?
Great.
And what's the number? How many schools can they support in girls at the $300 level?
One, that's an entire school. And I always put into perspective, we are at 5 schools every month on our own. And I
Mm-hmm.
know, and I know that corporations can do more. I know individuals can make a much greater impact than what we're currently doing. So that's one school, and then you move up. The 5 schools for the 500.
So
Um,
they can, and how many girls, if they do 500 a month, how many girls are they supporting?
oh, you're touching over 400 girls.
Wow. So by adopting
Well, I
five,
take that back. We're touching for our numbers, and it goes back. It's 106 schools, so some school population would be larger than others. So we have a very large population. Our 5 schools is 816 girls.
okay.
So yeah, we have the largest population. The education directorate did that for us, and we've been meeting the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so these schools that they adopt, then this corporation or this group, they will become partners with that school, those 5 schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they would be able to. You have a mechanism set up not only to provide the feminine products, but also books in the school. Additionally, as well, right?
School supplies. So
School,
our
oh,
goal
school
is
supplies.
school supplies. Our goal is to make sure that the girls have school supplies, and the boys are in the room, so they're going to get school supplies too. So we're going to supply those school supplies to the entire school or the entire classroom.
Right. So then, so this is the mission we wanted to get everybody's thoughts around. So what we're looking to do is 100 champions to adopt a school, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's our goal, 100 champions to adopt a school. And we would like to do 500 individuals or to have 500 classrooms adopted. So if you're not able to adopt a school, maybe you can adopt one or two classrooms. And so a classroom is $20 a month, two classrooms 40, three classrooms 60. So that's how we've been able to do that with the economies of scale. And then Kendra's able to serve all 15,000 girls, right? That's the ultimate goal, is to serve all the girls that are in that age range to be able to have those feminine products while they are in school. So then let's get some ideas from everyone. We have about 17 minutes. Let's get some ideas from everyone around, how do you all think that we can encourage people to support this mission and to support Kendra? So you guys can come off mute and make suggestions. Let's see. What suggestions do you all have?
Do you have like a video campaign that people can, do social media blast?
Yes,
Kendra,
we
you want?
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have the video.
I mean, it's a short. Is it? I mean, not that it has to be short, but I mean,
Right.
so
It's under. I think the video is under 2 minutes. It's not. It's not. It's
yeah,
where
yeah,
it's under
something
3 minutes.
like that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very.
so
It's a
something
short.
like that we can blast, and then it's funny because I was just asking my daughter because she normally does for her birthday we normally hand out meals, and I was like, hey, we're not doing meals this year, so you need to sponsor these girls. So I'm trying to think of other campaigns to really push it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a social media frenzy blitz, something.
One of the suggestions that one of Kendra's partners made was to have young girls, teenagers, to do a social media. What was his suggestion, Kendra? Where the young girls get on and do something on social media and then tag it on all of the different social media channels.
Yeah, so Brian's we did this in one of the previous campaign where his daughter actually did a quick video. It was under 30 seconds and telling everyone that they should support the cycle for success and keeping the girls in school. And that got a lot of traction. I think that video almost got 1,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, getting the youth involved on TikTok and also Instagram and Facebook, it can definitely go viral because it's the young girls that's being affected, and you have the young girls speaking on their behalf.
Yeah, yeah. And 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 if we had high school students to put the social media campaign together, this is why people in high school and college can uh, have these great inventions because they're not working. So they can focus on it. So having young people to actually put the campaign together. What do you all think about a diaspora campaign where should we focus solely on the Gambia? For example, if there are Gambian doctors that are here, Gambian lawyers that are here, and we focus on that group
Mm.
actually supporting, or should it be all African countries? Because the great thing about what you're doing, Kendra, is it's needed in every country.
Right,
It's
right.
needed in every country. So, so having that, I was talking to a one of our finance partners about Cycle for Success this morning, and asking this question because I'm on a mission to tap every brain that I can get to meet those numbers that are our target. And he was talking about what's called a donor advised fund and contacting different individuals who have what are called donor advised funds, where, the example I gave, where you get the $1 million contract and you put 200,000 into a nonprofit, where you're able to have these funds where you it's where you donate funds as a company or individual or corporation, and if it's in a donor advised fund, you have the ability to direct specifically where you want this money to go. And the money has been, you will be able to write off the 200,000, but then any profit that you make on top of that 200,000 that the company that you donated to makes, they're able to keep all of that profit tax free as well.
That's
So
good.
so that market of people, getting to donor advised funds, that's another way he was suggesting that we can get the 100 champions that we're looking for to adopt the 5 schools. So anybody else give us some ideas on what we can do in order to promote this event or promote this project? Because that's the biggest thing we're looking for. We're looking for individuals to support us with adopting a school or a classroom. So, Tazika, what do you think? You're still on mute. Can you hear us? So she's not. She's still on mute. Anyone, Nate, Dr. Teresa, what are your thoughts around what we can do in order to make this campaign successful?
I think trying the strategy that worked using the young people. I mean, if we know that works, I say do it again with another group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even if you alternate, maybe a girl from the States, then a girl from the Gambia, really getting them from the different areas and just talking about how important that is. And even like with the college students as well, because they were able to go to college because they was able to finish school. And just so talking about, that as well. And when you are supporting these sweet girls, you're able to give them a chance that they would not have had, because I understand all too well the importance of attendance. And I think since we know that strategy worked well last time,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely do that. I would probably also consider, you may want to consider doing some research of corporations. Like, sometimes a big corporation will kind of talk about what their nonprofit interests are, or
Mm-hmm.
they will list nonprofits they work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you see some that like, that kind of touches on working with girls, or that touches on health or whatever, then you may can pitch them like, hey, would you consider my nonprofit, because we do this and I see that you are interested in these type of topics and areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, Kendra, would we be able to get videos from the girls, from any of the girls?
Yes, we can work that. We can work that. I can put in that request, and I know he can go to a school. We can do it for sure.
I wouldn't make it formal. I would just have them to make it on their phone like they do for TikTok.
Right. Well,
And
well,
and because just starting out, because it's organic, and the girls they can just talk on their phone and drop us the video. They can share it on their social media. We can share it, and then we can ask our members to share it on their social media. So that gives us organic content. That's a good idea,
And
Dr.
Melissa, and I have some high schoolers. I can some girls that can help promote it too. I know they would be happy to. These MUI students.
Oh yeah, that would really be great. I had thought about talking to Sister Naima about the campaign,
I just
as
can
well.
talk to the girls because I do they do some stuff for me now. So
Okay, that would be great, and I can talk to um, the school in New York about supporting as well. That's one of the big pieces I wanted to, and getting the women. The other thought I had was the sororities, deltas, you know, AKAs, the different sororities, and having those groups to support us in this effort as well.
here's
Um,
what I'll do, Melissa, on that. I'll make sure I go back to the president, because there's the that's in Cleveland, Mississippi.
mhm,
They donated up to almost, they did $500. So when we were
okay.
running that previous campaign, they
Mhm.
got up $500 in that previous campaign. And
Mhm.
so I would make sure that I reach back out to them to get a letter of support so that we can leverage that with the other organizations.
Yeah. That's what I mean, coming together as a community to be able to reach all of the girls, because we only, so 100 um donors that are doing either 1 to 5 schools, right? That's what we're looking for. We're calling them 100 champions. And the more schools they can support, the better. And we have enough black home business. We have 100 black home businesses that can support the girls in that way. And then we want to do 500 classrooms adopted. So I think that we definitely can do that. Let me see. So
Yeah.
Tosika is suggesting a signature campaign, girls saying in 60 to 90 seconds what they want to become and how the funding would help them. Maybe social media strategy, weekly spotlight on one girl's stories, dreams, and achievements. I think that's an excellent idea. An excellent. And the Black and Global team can manage that to be able to get all of the videos in and curate them, and then we can circulate it to all of our members and ask them to share it on social media as well. Maybe $5 to $20 donation challenge. Yeah. So we're starting at the classroom level, because we have to think about the economies of scale and actually delivering and having. So we need to have a large quantity delivered. So we're starting at the 24 girls, the entire classroom. for them to be able to support for $20. I
And I
think it.
wanna, I'm
I
sorry.
go ahead.
I also want to suggest, because if you just think about 12 months in a year, $20, that's 240. I know they're not in school all the time, but I'm just even math.
Right.
That 240, that ensures that the girls have what they need for the year. Because I know some people don't want to pay monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there is just an option, organization may just give you a donation, right? Or can you donate 250? Can you donate the 500? And then you got that classroom covered for a year. So I know sometimes it can be a turn off
Mm-hmm.
to commit to giving money every month, even though it's a low amount. But if you just say 240, or
Mm-hmm.
250, that may be a little more digestible for that one time payment, and then you cover for the year. So that's something to consider as well.
Okay. So we can consider that as well. So right now you have the ability to set it up on recurring payments. So it comes out in a recurring way. But I definitely think this is Women's Month, right? This is March is Women's Month. And so we wanted to really highlight, an issue that uh, is a really relevant issue for all of us as women, because this literally touches all of us as women at some point in time. So I think it's getting in front of the right people to get the support. So I think it sounds like we have a good game plan. So we'll get the girls to do a 30 to 60 second. I definitely like doing the spotlight on a girl a week on our social media campaigns. And then Miracle, if you can work with Kendra to be able the um to get the video on the girls, and then we and reach out to Kamar as well, Miracle, to get the information for the girls that she works with, because you know imagine us linking them together, and the girls in Chicago where Kama is mentors these young girls, and then imagine if they take the system that Tosika is going to put on paper so that we can translate it. And imagine if they take her system and to be able to help the girls to get on their feet. And then imagine if they take Nadine's system of learning to upskill, and then Dr. Teresa's system of organizing, and taking Carolette's system of just being happy. This is an example of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us of working in unity. You see, because all of our mission is to help and support our people. We just do it from different angles. But the great thing is that we all are committed to working from our individual angle, but then we're also willing to come together and work to support each other. And that's our mission here at Black and Global, is to support our businesses as they grow globally. So Kendra, any closing words you want to say this evening?
You have touched my heart, because I know when women come together on one accord, we can do anything we set our minds to. So, everyone that's in the room, 6 months from now, because we'll come back, or maybe 90 days from now, we'll come back and we'll give a status report on where we are. And so Mayor Gerard always says this, and he wants me to express this deep, sincere love and appreciation that we have for our people. And he says, for anyone that's willing to donate, or anyone that's willing to lend an ear, or to provide any words of encouragement, you are blessed. God is going to bless you in a mighty special way. Every prayer request that you've made, he's is already heard, and it would already be delivered, because you're giving back to the motherland. And so, on behalf of Mayor Gerara, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come and to be in the room of very successful women, and allowing us to share the story of young girls that just wanting to do one thing, is to get an education without a barrier. And you all allowed us to brainstorm together. So thank you, and I truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Kendra. Thank you for walking into your mission. And thank you for staying committed to your mission. And I'm sure that there might be some of these women that want to join you on the trip going over to the Gambia. So would you be open to that possibly?
Yes, I will. We're going in July.
Oh, July, right.
Yeah, we're going July the 6th to the 13th. And so on our next visit, if July's too fast, on our next visit, I'll just make sure that you have those dates that you can share with your community.
Okay, that works well. So if you send us a flyer as well, we can promote that for anybody that would be interested in joining you, in this mission or lending their services to you as well. We at Black and Global are committed to supporting you, and we're committed to this mission, and we're going to help you get to these numbers, Kendra. We're going to pull out all the stops. That's why I wanted you to come on tonight. That's why I wanted to dedicate this time to you, and I wanted to show how you can take a
Mm.
nonprofit and make it successful internationally. And you're an example of that. And I gave you my commitment, I think last August, when we met in Atlanta last year. And by the time
You,
we get back to Atlanta this year, I am determined for us to be a success story. So we're happy to
yes.
support you in this process. So,
Thank you
so
guys so
thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
All right. So, as I always love to say, thank you all for joining the conversation tonight. Thank you all for lending your ears and your expertise. And I know that we're going to be successful. And as I always love to say, I am your sister and servant, Melissa Muhammad. We are the Black and Global Business Network, globalizing our connections, keeping us in the Black, and we'll see you around the globe. Thank you and good